People love this. Oh, baby. What is going on, Muncharoonskis? Listen, today I want to do something very special. Chinese food is one of my favorite cuisines, but I don't really know much about authentic Chinese food. I know a lot more about Chinese takeout, which is like Americanized Chinese food. Not authentic in any way, shape, or form. You're talking General Tso's, the egg rolls. I mean, some things have obviously resemblance, but I'm talking the Chinese food that I grew up on. And over the years, like I just kind of stopped eating it because I don't really eat out much, but I've been craving those flavors. And I'm sure some of you guys are in a similar situation, so I wanted to show you how to make all of my favorite Chinese food takeout recipes. Here's the thing. Once you know the basics of each recipe, you can go crazy. Like we're gonna be making beef and broccoli, so you can make beef, peppers, and onions. You can make sesame beef, orange chicken. Like you get the basics, and then you see like, oh, if I add a little bit of this, then it becomes that. So I'm not teaching you every single recipe on the menu, obviously, but enough that you're gonna freaking love it. Alright, so check it out. I'm making egg rolls, and the thing about egg rolls is you usually get your egg roll wrappers, and if you can't find them in the fresh section of the Asian grocery store, look in the frozen section. Even non-Asian grocery stores usually have them. Unfortunately, I went to an Asian grocery store and I couldn't find egg roll wrappers. I found these guys. Spring roll wrappers, spring pastries. That will do just fine. It might look a little bit different, but still delicious. The point is that all this gloriousness here is what's gonna get us to the golden land of egg rolls. I prepped some stuff, carrots, red pepper, skillet, some of this cabbage stuff here. Got sugar, oyster sauce, sesame oil, soy sauce, and ground pork. You can add shrimp, sometimes they do that. But the whole idea is you're cooking this mixture down very quickly. Then you wrap it in, you fry them, and you're good to go. The one thing we haven't seen yet is the oyster sauce. Now I don't use oyster sauce much. I just tasted it. It's super pungent, super flavorful, like umami bami. On its own, it's not something you're gonna want to eat, but when you add it to stuff, you just get a little bit of it, and it just does this thing to your body where it's like, hey guys, we're having a good time. My wok is getting hot, and the only thing that I did not show and mention, which has pretty much been used in every single thing for cooking, is of course the GGS, the ginger garlic scallions. So get some scallions in there, a little bit of this minced ginger, and then the garlic. And you want to stir it around so the garlic, of course, doesn't burn. But the nice thing is, once we get the other vegetables in there, they'll kind of be garlic's friend and protect them. I actually feel pretty good about that. You don't want to go too deep just yet. Add in the carrots, cabbage. That's Savoy cabbage. So it's like that big, not Savoy, Napa cabbage they call it. And it will wilt down. It looks like a lot of cabbage, but that cabbage is going to really wilt down. Waka waka, waka waka. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of push that over to the side. Woks are big, take advantage of that. This is like if you're doing fried rice, you can fry an egg at this point. But I'm just gonna fry that pork right in. And it doesn't have to be perfectly separated, but it just helps. It'll give it a chance to get some color before it goes in there. Because once it goes in there, it's gonna be more steaming, you know what I'm saying? So let's let that sit for a second. Oh, that's looking glorious, glorious, glorious. Okay, so you get that. See, it's starting to get a little color. Kind of stir fry that a little bit more. Now, at this point, I mean, I could be trying to do more. I'm just going to bring it all together. It's got a little caramelization, which gives me that color. Soy sauce, of course, just like a nice sprinkle. A small little hit of the good old sesame oil. Remember, a little dab of the oyster sauce, not too much. Just like, yeah. Remove some sugar. Sugar just helps balance out all like the saltiness without like taking away. It just gives you a nice blend. Oh, that's gonna be one divine egg roll. What you're really doing is you're building lots of layers of flavor, which is just smart. So the main thing that I know about these wrappers is that they are much thinner than an egg roll wrapper, so I'm gonna use 2 of them. They're very similar. I mean, it's pretty much flour and water. The other ones, I guess they have egg in them, hence the egg roll. But all you wanna do, you don't wanna overstuff this. Again, it's kinda like rolling a nice little jointski here. And you take that, and then you take some water, and you just kinda coat the edges a gentle, nice gentle touch. Don't touch too much. A little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? Coat the edges with some water or egg, which I could use egg, but I don't want to waste my eggs. Fold it over once, go over again, and just trying to get liquid squirting out because that's what will screw you in the fryer. And then boom, and I can take this last little bit here, add some more water. It's kind of like acts as glue, you know? And just sit that down on that side. I'll do one more. Ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at about, I don't know, 0.6 ounces. Mr. Egg Roll and Mrs. Egg Roll. Cool, I just put them in a wok with a little bit of oil. You don't need to do a deep fry. You could, but by no means do you have to. You can just cook them on each side. Oh my god, they're already... Oh lord. We have gloriousness. Look at that. Already starting to look sexy. It's okay if you flip them over a couple times. You can just leave them on one side if you choose, or you can go for a couple. Those actually look like some hella glorious egg rolls right there. Where the hell did I start saying hella again? That was like, I think I was like 12 years old when I started hella. It was like a LA thing. These cook quick. Wow. And they're like some tight flunkies. And let's get these bastards out of there. You don't want to cook it on too high, or they'll, before like they fully cook through, they will get super dark. So you want to do like a nice, once you get the oil hot, I kind of like to keep it at like a medium low. So it kind of maintains the heat. Oh yeah, that looks gross, bye. Sprinkle a little scallion to make it look like I care what I'm doing. Wow. Yeah, you want to definitely don't just bite into these. Try to crack them open because they're a steam pocket of a hellish fire on your tongue. If you don't, be careful. Usually they'd serve with hot mustard, or they'd serve with duck sauce, but I made sure the filling was so good. These are self-contained sauce beasts. Alright, so check this out. I went to Chinatown, I found the lo mein noodles. If you cannot find lo mein noodles, no big deal. You could probably even use spaghetti and this would still be delicious. What I find so gloriously beautiful about these noodles is because they are fresh, you literally just dump them in some water. You should probably add some salt to that. But just dump them in some water, and in about 40 seconds, these guys are perfectly done and cooked. Which is spectacular, because when you think of noodles, usually like, oh, 15, 20 minutes. But no, when they are fresh, they cook so fast. All I have to do is cook them in water, strain them, and we are on our way to lo mein heaven. Alright, you guys know how to cut vegetables, but I'll give you a little bit of a breakdown. Got your red peppers. Again, use whatever you got. You see like onions, peppers, and carrots in there a lot. You see scallions, you see other stuff, but I'm just cutting them in these like thin little strips. No big deal, just love the life. Kiss yourself. Carrot sucker, I just cut this guy. I'm gonna basically cut it in these little slices. But look at that, I mean, that is a very, very simple way to cut something and make it look sexy. Onions, habazing, habazoom, habalibbly libbly lambaloom. Basically just, you gotta sing while you cook. For this guy, I think what I'm gonna do, you see this a lot, I feel like in Chinese cooking, like a piece that's kinda looks like that. You know, you call it a dice or something, I don't know, but you see that. Put that on the plate, and then I'm pretty much just ready to go once the food is hot. Okay, so for this lo mein, I'm doing pork, and this is actually pork loin, which the cool thing about pork loin is it's affordable and it's delicious. It's not one of those things you have to like cook for a long time. It's got a good tender, good flavor to it. I want to have a piece like that. Then I can just cut these long, thin strips, which you'll see a lot of times in lo mein, those long, thin strips of pork. They're gonna fry up super fast and super glorious. Look, see the little porky. Got this guy getting nice and hot. Oh, smoking. Pork goes in. Boom shalakin. Keep kind of moving that around. There she goes. I see you sticking that ass. Now we're gonna get crazy and funkify this sumbitch up. Onions, carotes, red tapioshkas. Boom shalak, round 3. And I'm gonna add in scallions, because you can't have Chinese cooking without the scallywags. I can love this thing. Let this be my hand from now on. I think if I got Captain Hookified by Peter Pan or the crocodile and lost my hand, I'd probably opt for like a spatula instead of a hook, or maybe Probably not a knife that would scare people, but maybe tongs. Tongs would probably be it for me. I could live a good life with tong hands. In goes a bunch of ginger, kind of just eyeballing it, but you know, tablespoon, couple of teaspoons, whatever the hell. Looks pretty good to me. Start to build the sauce a little bit. I'm gonna go in with some sesame oil. You don't want to use too much of this stuff. It's one of the most delicious oils in the entire world, but too much of it will screw with your mouth and your brain. It's so powerful. I can just smell it now. It just took over that lo mein experience. In a good way, but it could have gone bad had I been a son of a bitch and gone too high. One more scallions. Again, feel it out. You know, this isn't the kind of cooking that's like French, you know, stick up my butt kind of gotta be perfect. This is like, just love thy food like you love thy neighbor. Or maybe you hate thy neighbor. In that case, don't love the food like the neighbor. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. I freaking out. I'm so excited. Taste a little piece. A little bit of sugar. Oh, that was a good amount. That's all good. And a bunch of soy. And you don't really necessarily want to add the soy in too early. This is more at the end, because if you add it too early, sometimes the soy can get a little weird. I mean, it's still good, but it can get a little bit funky or kind of burn up a little bit. Same with the sugar. So I like to add it at the end. Drop in those lo mein noodles. I made way too many, but you can never have too many fresh noodskis, right? Okay, I think that's good. Get off me, damn it, son of a bitch! Shut the hell up! And just mix that around. Break up the noodles a little bit because they're pretty long. Well, that's the ultimate trick. You stick it in just like that. I'm telling you, feels good. Wow! Now that is looking sexy. And you can give it a little taste, or you can just kind of smell it and be like, "Hey, buddy, we're doing pretty good here, aren't we?" Oh, come on! So goddamn good. What is happening? Why am I crushing it today? Yeah, this lo mein's on fire. Your lo mein's on fire. Okay, boom, done. What do you know about that? Excuse me, sir, your lo mein? Delicious. I can't say lo mein is a dish that's as exciting as like a General Tso's, but I think it's just one of those great dishes that is really filling. So we would always get the house lo mein. House, I never knew what house meant. I think it just meant like whatever the hell they got in the house, they just throw it in. I'd say this is a pretty damn good rendition. Nasty lo mein. Anybody hungry? Like, I wish I could invite you guys over to eat. I have so much freaking food. What the hell is going on? Why am I just crushing it today? It's fucking fantastic. And it makes me wanna do a tasty dance. Do a tasty dance. Do it, huh? Do a tasty dance.
A little bit of this. I'm doing my This Is Tasty dance.
You know you want it? You know you want it. By the way, if you are wondering, yes, this is my new apartment. It's freaking awesome. So what I'd be essentially doing is taking this beef rump. There's other options. You could use like a tenderloin. You could even use ribeye if you really go crazy, but no need to. Just slicing it really thin, like in these types of pieces. You know, you kind of choose your size. They're gonna shrink a little bit. So what we have here is another glorious example of why I love Chinese food. A lot of times they will make these sauces, and especially at restaurants, they'll have the sauce already made. And once they add the sauce, what they're doing is they're actually adding cornstarch to it. And what the cornstarch does, you'll see cornstarch in a lot of recipes today. The cornstarch is the thickener. It's also a great breading, like in the General Tso's, but I have about a tablespoon of this to soy sauce. I'm gonna do a little oyster sauce as well, just a little bit. Chinese cooking wine. When I whisk this together, you see that, folks? Can you see it? With the cornstarch, once it dissolves in there, you can see it gives it like kind of a lighter experience of the color situation. And when it hits the hot pan, it's gonna instantly thicken up, and that's gonna give you that like glaze, because it allows the sauce to stick to everything. If you didn't have the glaze, it would still be good, but sometimes the soy sauce can just have a mind of its own. So this actually creates a situation where the sauce is like, no, we're gonna be one. We're gonna like make this master sauce, and we're all gonna become one beautiful friend of love. Just decided I'm just gonna do a little marinade of the meat. I feel like why not? I could use a little bit of marinade, so some soy, and just some sesame oil. Help to give us a nice glorious flavor. You can let that sit from anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour, overnight, whatever. In Chinese cooking, they tend to do a lot of steaming, which I appreciate because, you know, it makes a lot of sense. You can get vegetables really nice and tender without, like, if I tried to cook this broccoli right now, it would probably burn before it got tender. So what I'm gonna do is kind of a fake version of a steam. I could use a steamer basket, pop it in there, put the broccoli on top. That's great. What I found that I enjoy recently is kind of just getting a little bit of water in there, dropping in your broccoli. I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt. Why not? And even if this is all you're making, even if you're not making the beef dish, just simply doing this, what it's doing is it's kind of steaming and cooking the broccoli. You'll see the broccoli change colors, gets a beautiful green color. It's already green, but it's gonna get an even more sexy green color. And as the water cooks out, the broccoli cooks. By the time the water's gone, you got cooked broccoli, and then you can move on with the old dish. Just like that, as the water's cooking out, broccoli turns this really cool vibrant green, and then we are ready to go. So I'm gonna take that out and then get the beef in there. Okay, so the beef's mostly cooked. This is gonna be all the way cooked at this point, but I'm gonna take it out. Cool, what's that guy out? Now we're just going back with our Mr. Favorite friends. You know, your little scallions. Gingioskis. Oh, that was garlic. This is ginger. Looking at people. It's cooking too long. So that happens after about your 5th Chinese recipe of the day. So I have to go bazonkazonk. To me, it's really about flavoring that oil. So everything I cook is going to have the essence of this glory to you. Broccoli. Let the broccoli become best of friends and part-time lovers with the GGS mixture. That's all she knows, folks, so she doesn't do her homework because she's cooking Chinese food. Beef, you're going in. I don't care what you say. You're going in with the rest of them. You gotta be friends. Get the wok nice and hot. Add in our cornstarch experience mixture, and you'll see we'll add this really cool thick glaze to it. And since most people know that everything is sexier with sesame seeds, well, now it's basically sesame beef, which is delicious. Broccoli, sesame beef. I'll take it. Oh my goodness gracious. Give it the old spin. I mean, honestly, it's a very simple dish, but people love this. Chasing Truth, a new documentary all about chasing truth with Chinese food. Oh man. Now that just shot me back to a time I remember when I first fell in love with beef and broccoli. It took me a long time, but I actually happen to think broccoli is one of the best vegetables, if not best things in the entire world in general. And this way of cooking broccoli, if you don't like broccoli, make this recipe, then try to tell me you don't like broccoli. Broccoli is a thing of love. Why am I just crushing it today? Alright, so I did a video, it was a rap video. Some people freaking loved it, a couple people didn't, so I figured I would add it again to this video to show you guys how to make the general so's without the rap lyrics. So take an egg, beat that up, add some soy sauce and some of that Chinese cooking wine. Then I got a little bit of baking soda. Actually, it's baking powder, and I'm just gonna mix it up with a whisk. Add in some cornstarch. You're kind of making this sauce slurry thing, right? Then toss your chicken. That's actually gonna be the marinade. The chicken's gonna sit in there for anywhere from an hour to a couple hours. Then take another bowl, add in some cornstarch, right? Some more of the baking powder. This is gonna help with the rising. This is our breading, essentially. You can add flour. A lot of places add flour, but this is awesome because it's gonna be gluten-free if you're using gluten-free soy sauce. Cool? Okay, now add some soy sauce into a final bowl. Lots of bowls, no big deal. Some more Chinese cooking wine, rice vinegar, some sugar, sesame oil, cornstarch, and mix that up, right? That's the sauce. Okay, now take that chicken that was marinated,
and I'm gonna be dancing, why not? And then put it in that mixture and then just deep fry it. So you're putting in that cornstarch mixture, just coating it around, deep fry it at about 350, 375, and it's just gonna get super gloriously crispy. Like, oh my God, look how crispy that is. What is going on at crispy levels? Take some oil in your wok, scallions go in, ginger goes in, minced up, and garlic goes in, and a chili. Dried chilies, 1 or 2, however hot you want it. Kind of mix that around for a little bit, then pour your sauce in, and with the cornstarch, when it gets hot, it's gonna thicken up, and you're gonna have this amazing General Tso's sauce, and you throw in your chicken, and you toss it around, and you are pretty much set. Like, oh, this honestly blew me away with how good it was. I cannot express to you how perfect it tasted. So I throw it over some rice. I added in some sesame seeds. Some people are like, why? But I just love sesame seeds. You don't have to. Look at that. Come on. Sexy time.
Boy, am I excited for probably more than any other recipe ever. Oh my God, I've done it. I've done it. It's a perfect General Tso's recipe of all time. Listen, thank you guys so much for sticking around for part 1 of the Chinese glorious eating experience. I had a blast making it. I did not know what to expect. I was blown away by how incredibly delicious the recipes were. I'm not just saying that because I'm on camera. I know people have the same damn reactions. So good every time. But seriously, this food hits on such an amazing note. I hope you enjoy and you give these things a try, because you should. It's so easy. Even if you don't have all the ingredients, just give it a try. And don't remember that you can forget to be the best cook in the world.